Welcome back. My name is Ivica Cartello. You are watching React School for the Total Beginners. PostAdded. Redux PostAdded. Open your text editor, Visual Studio Code. Here it is. Terminal, new terminal. Open your folder where you say your React application. Here it is, mine. Create folder 418, for example. Open. Open folder. Open this repository. Copy address of this repository. Git clone paste repository. Open folder 418 and open folder inside of that folder. File, open folder here. Open folder 418 and this folder 417 PostAdded. Select. Here it is. 470 PostAdded. I don't need it. Terminal, new terminal, npm install. Npm start. Our application running. Post title, content. Look at post list. There is initial value, first post, second post, and now save post, dispatch action to reducer, and we have our post here. Now, code explanation. App store is on the level of all application. It is one store for all application. One Redux, one store. Store is object, and the properties of store is state. State here is main role, that we say like that. Import configure store. Configure store is important for store because that function creates store, and that coming from Redux toolkit. Create store. And post reducer, we will see what is post reducer. Post reducer is about action and reducer. And export constant create object store, create by configure store. It is configure store, and parameter of configure store is this object, because it is in curly brackets. It is object. Object is always in curly brackets. Reducer column, in curly brackets we have only one reducer, posts and column, and name of reducer is post reducer. It is very interesting thing that we know nowhere to see post reducer name, but it is for action, for reducer for action, because that name post reducer create post slice. Post slice create post reducer, because post slice is a foundation for action creator and reducer creator. And it is foundation, it is element what we must write, code, and from that coding, post slice produce this concretely post reducer and produce action type of action and payload of action. But we are now in store. We spoke about store. I think I said all about store. For store is important configure store, it create, is important dispatch. Dispatch is method of store, what take action, what listen event to event listener, some kind of event listener on the component, and when event happened, take action and give it to store to reducer. It is dispatch. Here is not visible dispatch. Dispatch is visible always on component because dispatch is event listener on component and event happened on component. Again, configure store, dispatch, and get state method. Store have get state method. By that method, we can access state in store. Here we don't see name of state. We have only store here. Store, all about store. But with that script, there is a state inside that store. State is properties of object store. We have store. It is Redux. It is configure store is from Redux toolkit, and it is construction of Redux. And that Redux we must connect Redux store in Redux. It is main coding of Redux. We must connect with React. And it would be here in index.js. Import React from React, import create root. Create root, very important, coming from React DOM client. And it is function what will create, connect HTML element root with a container inside, with container who is like bed, like cradle for a React application. And here it is object container equal HTML element named root. It is div, it is here. In public, index HTML, it is here. It is element div id root. Back again. It means object container is element, is HTML element named root. It is div. And now when we have container and inside that object is it is document get element by ID, it is root, it is div, we must that div, that HTML element connect with root, connect with React, and React virtual running React, complete React, virtual running, never go in DOM, document object model, never go in place in memory where is saved document object model, where is saved HTML structure. He must have own place in memory where he can run a runtime, has own runtime, JavaScript runtime, and it is root. Here is object root, and create a root function what parameter that has parameter container. You look at that connection container. Here is a parameter container, and our object root is basic place in memory where our React play. This moment we have place in memory for React runtime, JavaScript runtime, and now we must connect React with our component in React complication. It is here, root object. There is render method, and parameter of render method is React component. React component provider element component provider element React element coming from, you look at provider coming from React Redux package, and provider is a key element what wrap up topic component in our React application, and it is script where Redux React connected. Provider element, React element provider, there is a properties store equal our store what just before look at. In curly brackets it is our store. And that store here, that store like props is connected with, it is Redux store and is connected with application top application in our React application, and by render this we render React application connected with Redux application. Let's go to see app topic application is only have add post form and post list. Add post form is this post title, add new post, and here is post is post list. Now we have 3 posts. Now we would have 4 posts. Here it is 4 posts. Here is a post list. You look at in post list, we need, it is a component, we need use selector because in post list, post coming, title and content, coming on the screen, coming in the component. And button save post need dispatch action and take title and content, take it and bring it to store to concretely reducer save post. And after that we see that in the post list form give content, title and content to Redux, and from Redux coming post in post list. 2 component, add new forms, add new post, and post list. Let's go to see that in coding. It is up, and we have a feature post, add post form. Add post form will have We don't need React because we import React in index.js. Use state is a hook for immutable change local state. Local state is this. L G. It is a local state. Now it is a local state of inbox input box post title and the state of input box of content. Where in my memory state is use state. Use state, there is a component what memorize this state, this one state and second state. And when we save post, that go by dispatch method, go to Redux, go to reducer, go to store, go to reducer. Now, go. And the use state now have no data is clean from inbox, from input box. Let's go here. Here we have use state, use dispatch. Use state is hook for local. Use dispatch is hook for that local state bring to store, to Redux. Local state to Redux. Concretely store, and in store there is a reducer. Use state, local hook for manipulation, for immutable change of state, local state. Use dispatch is hook for take that state and bring it to reducer. And reducer by that state, dispatched by that dispatched new state payload, by this dispatched payload, it is no new state, and action, reducer has two input. One is a state, and that coming by initial state, or after action coming by use dispatch. And that state and input is, second input is action. Action is, action is object that have action type and action payload. And with that two input, a reducer, immutable change state. This post added is action from post slice, we will see. Okay, export create add post form equal arrow function. In the body of arrow function we create use state for set title. Use state create always two members in array. One we named title and one is set title. Title is a local state of title, and the set title is element which immutable change title. Immutable change title. Also here, set content is immutable change content. What is content? This is content. And after immutable changing content, we have content. That content would be take by action. It would be payload. Title and content would be payload of action. Constant dispatch. Here we must this statement means that we have a method of dispatch, method of store. Hook use dispatch can go to Redux, can go to component and to Redux, but this use state can only be on local on component. And constant on title change, set title, look at that, I spoke about that. Set title change value, event target value. Set title change on immutable kind. Immutable change title. Here it is, immutable change content. It is moment on title change, on content change. It is two object on title change, on content change equal arrow function event parameter, and set title e.target.value means immutable changing value, and it is on title change object. All, same for on content change. Equal arrow function, parameter e, set content, it is set state. Take care about use state, set state. Set state, what we call here set title, set content. It is function, and on title change is set title is function, set content is function, and this is object on title change, on content change. And when we click on save, on save post click, if title and content exist, here is method dispatch, take post added. Post added is a function, it is creator, action creator. Post added is action creator. He will create type of action. Here it would be posts, slash post added, and payload. Payload is value of title and value of content. Here it is, title and content. Set title means empty. Because of that we have empty input box of title and input box of set content. After this, dispatch take action, concretely take action creator. Action creator will create action type, and action payload. And after that, set title empty, set content empty. It is only one bool, result of bool. It is object result of bool, boolean function title and boolean content. It is AND. It is AND door. We call it in logic bool algebra. We call it logical door. AND logical door must be true this, and must be true this, that exists, that would be one can save. Must be one this, and must be one this. 1 and 1 equal object can save would be 1. A result of that expression would be 1 if both side is 1. And now in return, until now we have only JavaScript language. Until return in brackets of return, we have JavaScript extension or JavaScript XML language, JSX language. It is mix of JavaScript and HTML language. A result of that is HTML on the screen. Result of that is component. Concretely here, add post form component. Input, one input. Value of input is title. On change, it is JavaScript event. When happened that event on change, we have on title change object. It would be immutable kind, product of immutable change local state. Here post title change, and the value would be title. That title would be taken by action. It would be payload of action, and the same is for content. For content also, content would be payload. Title and content would be payload, and on change we have that on content change. It would be immutable kind of changing content. It would be content. Result of immutable kind always is this content. New content, new content, new title. Use state is hook who produce on immutable kind produce new state from one state, old state to new state. Input title, input content, there is state, and when we type new state, it is new state, and for that we use state hook, local hook for a function component. Thanks to use state and other hooks, but here we speak use state. Thanks to use state, we don't need a script class component. We can use only function component. Button on click, on save post click, and also this button, there is a type, this type button, it is argument type. On click is JavaScript event, but here it is argument of button. And we have argument disable equal exclaim sign means no. Disable if we know can save. If can save is 0, not 1 but 0. That moment we cannot add use that button save post. When we click button on save post, on save would be happen on save post click and would be called that on click event call on save post clicked. Call what call? Call on save post click. Here it is on save post click. Call that object. That object is equal arrow function, and here it is in body of that arrow function. Parameter is nothing. We have if title and content. Dispatch add post set title set content. It is on save post clicked. Okay, I explain all. And now only this one, post list. Post list, as always, use a selector, because in that post list will came from Redux, would came state, and create post list. Post list component is equal arrow function, parameter nothing. In curly brackets we have this constant post is use selector. Use selector go to Redux, can go to Redux, take state. State is state there is properties post, and it is our interested us. And here in post we have all posts. Constant rendered post. Now we have by method map. Post.map. Method map produce a new array. Post is array. Every array there is a method map. Map is parameter arrow function where parameter post. And in body we have article, key, post ID, post title, and post content only 100 characters. And return section, we return post. Rendered post is here, and we see that. I think here I said all. It is post list, and post slice is very important. Again, we have initial state. We have create slice from Redux toolkit. Nanoid is function would create identification strings, random strings for ID, and here is constant post slice, create slice, and what create? Name posts, because of that action type would be posts, and we have initial state, and reducer, of course it is initial state. Reducer is post added. Post added, and post added reducer, there is a state and action, input to input, and that state push means adding action payload. We have a possibility prepare function that title and content, not ID, because ID here it is value for ID. It is function nanoid produce random string, and only prepare title and content. It is prepared like in other programs. Prepared function. It is for security and possibility that we declare what would be payload, ID, title, and content. And post added is post slice and post slice reducer. Thank you for watching this video.